get up in the morning, I run 4 miles, then I walk 10 miles. Later on that day, I come back from my walk and I do 2,500 sit-ups.
Mike Tyson has returned to training with intense focus after his unexpected loss to Jake Paul. The former heavyweight champion showed resilience, hitting the bag with ferocity and practicing head movement.
78 degrees.
Beautiful.
The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson became the center of heated debates and online controversies. Heralded as one of the most significant matches in boxing history, it pitted a YouTube sensation against a generational boxing legend, creating a whirlwind of hype and speculation.
The Tyson vs. Paul script was fully leaked all the way down to the bow Jake did in round 8. This profile on X posted it anonymously one day before the fight, explaining everything before deleting it today. A fake script has been going around that said Mike Tyson will get KO'd in round 5, but that one was clearly not real or an older script. This will give you goosebumps. I'm just going to read you parts, but if you want to see the full script, I'll show you it at the end. Round 1, opening bell rings and Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, but slower than his prime.
On Twitter, user Olalu summed up the sentiments of many, writing, "No way, Jake Paul is getting walked. I respect his work, but no way Mike loses unless it's script." This tweet captured a widespread suspicion that the fight was pre-arranged, especially considering Tyson's reported $20 million payout. Critics interpreted such comments as evidence that Tyson might have prioritized financial gain over preserving his boxing legacy.
That he doesn't care about legacy, which is an indication that he sold his soul. We know Netflix sat him down. Hey, we just gotta make this look good. Hey, Mike, this is the new day and age. Think about the bag, think about the money. Let's not talk about the buffering fight that we had with Netflix last night, with all due respect. But I think Mike realized that signing a contract to do this and to script this fight was a big mistake. This shifts the landscape of boxing. This shifts the landscape of pay-per-view. And although Netflix had technical difficulties last night, next time they will be locked and loaded and ready. With that being said, history is being made. The world is a stage, and it's all propaganda.
These suspicions grew louder as fans and analysts alike labeled the fight a scripted affair. Questions about its authenticity intensified after Tyson dismissed the idea that the match was financially motivated. In a pre-fight interview, Tyson remarked, "This fight not gonna change my life financially," a statement meant to silence critics.
Do you enjoy doing this stuff, or is the business just too good to walk away from?
This fight is not going to change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good and I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy.
Come on.
Adding to the drama, Logan Paul, Jake's older brother, weighed in on the controversial bout. Reflecting on Jake's performance, Logan stated, "Jake let Mike live," implying that Jake might have pulled his punches against Tyson. When asked if Tyson might call him out for a future fight, Logan dismissed the idea, remarking bluntly, "He just wants money, not a fight."
Logan, what do you make of Jake's performance tonight?
Absolutely stupendous.
What do you think of Mike Tyson?
I love Uncle Mike. He's just such a, I mean, like, that was impressive, no? For a 58-year-old. Hi, how are you? That was, yeah, he's like tough, proud of him, weathered the storm with a young brute named Jake Paul. I think Jake let him live. I do. He wants to fight you, bro.
Yeah, he wants to fight you next. What about that?
I think he wants money. I don't think he wants to fight me.
Would you take the fight?
No.
Leading up to the match, fans hoped to see the legendary Tyson deliver a dominating performance. However, the reality fell short. The hype surrounding the fight drew in celebrities like Drake, who reportedly placed a significant bet on Tyson. After witnessing Tyson's loss, Drake's frustration highlighted a growing disillusionment with the sport's integrity. His reaction underscored the broader skepticism among fans, who questioned whether the match was truly competitive or merely a business deal.
So allegedly the fight was scripted, and there's this leaked script for the fight basically breaking down every single round and what actually happened. I don't know the validity of this or not, if this is true, but I think if it is, what makes me the most angry is I had a flashback moment to, if you watch the documentary leading up to the fight, the one about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, when they take Tyson back to his neighborhood, he's walking around and he's interacting with everyone, and how many people were coming up to him and like taking pictures and stuff, and they're like, I got my money on you, Mike. I'm betting all my money on you. I'm gonna make money off you, Mike. And Mike doesn't not say nothing. He's like, yeah, do that. Bet your money. And I'm just like, you're going back to your communities where people are having it hard as hell right now. We all know the financial situations going on in this world right now. And then to put that hope into people, especially if you did know that it was scripted, wouldn't you just stay neutral? Like, not only are you going back and just telling random people, like, hey, it's your money, you blow where you blow it, even though I already know what the outcome's gonna be, but going back to, like, oh, that is a, I hope this is not true.
Adding fuel to the fire, Tyson's pre-fight comments further stirred controversy. When asked about the importance of his legacy, he responded dismissively, "Legacy is nothing." This statement left fans questioning his motivation for stepping back into the ring, with many interpreting it as an admission that the fight was about money rather than pride or passion.
If Mike Tyson threw that fight for $20 million, he sold his soul. Selling your soul is going against your I am. Selling your soul is going against your moral compass for financial gain or materialism, which is why you get this empty, soulless look in Mike's face, because it's regretful what he did. He told this young lady that legacy is nothing.
Another point of contention was the fight's unusual rules, which some viewed as skewed in Jake Paul's favor. Reports suggested there was a financial penalty clause in the contract, preventing Tyson from knocking out Paul early. Critics argued that such clauses undermined the fight's authenticity, ensuring that both fighters' legacies remained intact regardless of the outcome.
But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out.
Boxing analysts speculated that the fight's perceived scripting aimed to safeguard both fighters. A loss for Tyson, a retired legend, could tarnish his illustrious career, while a loss for Paul, to a 58-year-old, would jeopardize his burgeoning boxing ambitions. By orchestrating a controlled outcome, the match served more as a calculated event than a true contest.
In this video, I'm going to let you know whether the actual fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was fixed and why it was fixed. Listen, understand, it was a big nostalgia hit. It got our attention. It was a big financial promotion for everybody, and it actually worked. Now, the fight was absolutely terrible, and it feels like Paul was holding back his punches, and at times Mike Tyson was holding back punches. If these guys went full out on each other, right, it would look bad on Jake Paul for knocking out a guy that's twice his age, right? And it would look bad on Mike Tyson if he got knocked out as well. It would tarnish his legacy. Not only that, if Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul and knocked him out, it would ruin the legacy that Paul wants to leave as he continues to fight. He didn't want to tarnish that losing to a guy who's twice his age. So we'll look back either way. So to answer your question, 100% this was fixed. They sat it out and talked about it. It went to decision because that was a neutral way to end it, and it went the full 8 rounds to keep people entertained. They didn't want it to end quickly. 100% it was fixed. It was smart on them. A big money grab.
Former world champion Carl Froch didn't hold back in expressing his disappointment. He argued that Tyson's legendary power could have easily ended the fight with one clean punch. However, Froch suggested that such an outcome was deliberately avoided, stating, if Tyson had been allowed to land a powerful left or right hook, he could have knocked Paul out. His comments further fueled claims that the fight was fixed.
I don't know what pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no knockout clause. Now, Jake Paul, going into the fight, I believe he's put down every single fighter he's actually been against. Now, he's only one boxer before Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson, man, is 58 years old.
Evander Holyfield, another boxing icon, also shared his dissatisfaction with the match. Observing Tyson's performance, Holyfield remarked that something seemed off about his fellow legend.
What did you think of the fight?
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg. So he couldn't, his balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing. Yeah. His balance was off.
His balance was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, overall, like, how do you see Jake growing from this, and who do you want to see him fight against now?
Well, you know, I'm like, he's a pretty good fighter.
Promoted as a thrilling showdown between a social media star and a boxing legend, the match ultimately failed to deliver. What fans anticipated as a competitive clash turned into a lackluster event.
This fight sucked gorilla balls. I hated it. A roided up 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old senior citizen should have been illegal in the first place. I was already expecting to be disappointed, but was still blown out of the water with how bad it really was. I called it back in March, saying that this fight would suck, and that the Paul sisters were very good at generating hype only to deliver a letdown, and both those things happened. But still, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was a giant economic success. The Netflix servers were overloaded with how many people were trying to watch it. So money grab fights and mediocrity are now literally being celebrated. And it's so sad to see how far the business of boxing has really fallen. This is why Dana White is the absolute best when it comes to the fight game. Say what you will about him, but he is the John Jones of promoters. Every week he puts on fights where the best fights the best. No gimmick bullshit. And I hear Jake Paul is going to be announcing his next opponent really soon.
For Tyson's loyal supporters, watching their hero in a diminished state was a bitter pill to swallow, amplifying the sense of disappointment.
All right, I'm not even going to sit around and wait for the result of that Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. That was the most pointless, stupid fight in the history of boxing. That was absolutely pathetic. Netflix couldn't even get your streaming situation figured out. What was that? Everybody's stream was lagging. You couldn't even figure that situation out. And then your first big launch of this like new sports streaming thing that you want to do is this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight where Mike Tyson is clearly, I love Mike, love him. My dad is a massive, massive Mike Tyson fan. He was texting me saying how depressing it was for him to watch this. Jake Paul was selling it, I'm gonna kill Mike Tyson, I'm gonna And what happened? He showed mercy to Mike Tyson in the ring because Mike Tyson just didn't have it anymore. He had no legs under him. If you don't want to hurt the guy, why are you fighting him? Just to con us? To con people into buying more Netflix subscriptions? This fight sucked.
Reports that Tyson had been hospitalized the day before the fight cast a shadow over the event. Despite not being in peak condition, the fight proceeded, seemingly to avoid the fallout of another postponement.
Mike Tyson might be dropping out of the fight versus Jake Paul tomorrow. Just after doing the weigh-in today, there's rumors Mike Tyson had to be taken to the hospital for care. This would be the second time the fight had to be canceled due to Mike Tyson having a health scare. At the age of 58, this has many people worried that if Jake Paul goes hard in this fight and knocks him out, Mike could end up seriously hurt. KSI seems to think this is a likely outcome, even though most fighters seem to think there's no way Jake wins. They were even betting millions against Jake here. This is what Jake had to say about the rumor.
He's scared or something, I don't know, but it pisses me off. I guess I'm just used to having to carry the promotions anyways. So.
We will know what happens early morning tomorrow. Subscribe if you hope this fight happens.
Boxing analysts questioned the decision to let Tyson compete given his age and health challenges, with many believing it was a risky move motivated by financial interests.
very generic test of brain function, brain activity, but doesn't actually show you anything structural in the brain, and an EKG is for the heart rhythm. Then there you have the actual form of what has to be done for the physical. There's some very basic stuff in here about medical history, any history of seizures, headaches, dizziness, brain hemorrhage, chest pain, irregular heartbeats, cramping with exercise, asthma, very simple, basic medical history. Have you had a concussion, lost consciousness? Obviously for these boxers, this better be yes for all of them because they've all had head injuries pretty much at this point. And then again, here's that comment about being over the age of 36 is what they would consider an older athlete. Physical exam. For the neurologic exam, none of this is functional. This is very basic. How alert are you? Your cranial nerves. Look at somebody walk, very simple finger, nose, and reflexes. This is extremely simple screening, not anywhere near the level of complexity for something like what a professional boxer is walking into. And it's the same other than an EKG and an EEG for a 20-year-old fighter or theoretically a 90-year-old fighter.
Ultimately, the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will be remembered more as a spectacle than a genuine sporting event. Critics argue that it was orchestrated to benefit both fighters financially while preserving their respective images.
And then by the end of the fight, it was clear this was a 58-year-old man, and he looked like a 58-year-old man. And I have a lot of issues with this. I don't think this fight should have ever happened. I think it says a lot of bad things about the combat sports world and sets a really dangerous precedent going forward. We're gonna talk about the whole fight clearance approval process and then just physiologically why he looked the way he did. There's a lot of just true anatomy and physiology changes that explain why Tyson looked so bad and play a role in why this type of thing should not happen. So how did this fight even happen or get approved? That governs licenses for combat sports. It's not a national standard. It's state by state, and there's a wide variety of medical clearance processes and rules in place from one state to another. That probably played some role in where this fight happened because Texas has some of the more lenient medical clearance processes. So here you can see if you're going to apply to get a license, you basically have to have a medical exam, you have to have some negative blood work, which is pretty self-explanatory. You have to have passed an eye exam within the previous 6 months. And if you are over the age of 36, you are considered an older competitor and you have to have more favorable physical testing, limited, including...
UFC President Dana White also voiced concerns about Tyson's health. White commented that Tyson appeared unsteady while entering the ring, suggesting he wasn't in the right physical state to fight. White's observations echoed those of medical experts, who had warned that Tyson's age and health made the fight a questionable undertaking.
But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's gonna do anything to me? He's not good. He's not going to knock me out. He's not going to do this. And you saw him. He tripped when he was walking down the thing. He had a hard time walking up the stairs. He had a knee brace on. And Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. He made a ton of money. And I know people are mad. You stayed home on a Saturday night, but you didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? And... you know.
Despite these concerns, Tyson's commitment to the fight was evident. In June, he reportedly came close to passing out during training, but remained resolute in his decision to face Jake Paul. This determination, while admirable, also raised questions about whether the event's organizers should have intervened to prioritize his well-being.
This is one of those situations when you lost, but you still won. I'm grateful for the last night, no regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June. I had 8 blood transfusions, lost half of my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and I had to fight back to get healthy to fight. So I won. So I want you guys to realize that. Remember we were seeing videos of Mike Tyson sparring, we looking at him, we like, damn, he looks good. He was good. He was ready to fight. He was good until he got sick. And that's why the fight got postponed.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.